Monday night, it's RaceSpotTV. We're back once again with Monday Night Skippys, and we're here from Okayama, Japan. Welcome everybody to the race. It's Rachel Wyford, and today with our special guest commentator Ryan Walker up here at the booth with us, we are ready for all the action tonight. We're on to round number 3 tonight. It's going to be a fantastic run here at I just nearly said Suzuka because that's exactly where I was last night for the Majors Atlantic split. So we'll pretend that didn't happen. We're here at Okayama. It's down the road, close enough. For him and Tonaida's leading the boards right now in qualifying. Kieran Halliburton second place, Bill Fraser back in third. Laps seem to be going into the books for these guys. It seems it is a two-and-done job solo qualifying here. So we're seeing everything at the moment. We'll look at your race points so far for the championship. It's only 3 rounds, but everything matters so far. After 2 rounds in the books, it's Bill Fraser leading the way, currently on 80 points. 10 points back is for Fahim Tonaida's. Clark Williams in third from just doing well. Hasn't been in top 5s, but it's done what he needed. Third place, 4th place even, Paul Thurston with Anthony Catt in 5th, Dave Martin, Robert Plumley, Simon Edwards, Kane Halliburton, John McGovern, and Adrian Hendy in 10th place. Wow, fantastic so far. In fact, it's a tie currently, I should say, with Halliburton and McGovern. That is for 9th. So 10th place there, Adrian Hendy. Things looking tight. A lot of new names and faces there, Ryan, up in your top 10 positions. And with the end of our qualifying just coming up, any thoughts for the race?
Yeah, quite a lot of different names in the top 10, Rachel. Yeah, it should be. I think we should be in for a pretty epic race this evening. And yeah, with Okayama being such a long and also twisty track as well, it should provide great I'll say that again, great action in the field, and yeah, hopefully it'll be good to see a bit of a mixture in the field.
It certainly should. And got a couple of drivers just doing final cool downs here at Okayama. Some still trying to get those last minute qualifying laps in, so things could change. We'll go to that in just a moment's time. But Okayama, it's tricky. It's short. It's a very compact track. We have only 11 turns here on this 2.3 mile track. And the first and last corners are called first and last corner. That's how original they were when they designed this layout. But as things go, this is a fantastic place. It's one of the original tracks for my racing, Ryan. And this place, it holds memories for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mostly of rookie racing crashes in turn 1.
Yeah, absolutely. It holds some bad memories for me. I remember doing a UK&I Skip Barber league race here a few seasons back, and I was doing well, sitting in the top 10 until my engine went pop.
Certainly is. Alright folks, time for the grid. Fahim Tonaida's puts it on pole with a 1:43.107 for him. Kieran Halliburton in 2nd place. Bill Fraser in 3rd. Ben Daniels 4th place. Jack Hobbs in 5th. Simon Edwards back in 6th. Christian Novak returning to the series. He's in 7th place. Clear Hughes 8th place with Clark Williams. And Paul Grillo in 10th. Anthony Catt's there in 11th place with Daniel Tufts in 12th. Darrell Taylor, Robert Plumley, Nick Sigley in 15th. Chris J. Morris, Chris Bassett, Gary Tall, Nicholas Vaughan Roberts, and Dave Martin in 20th. Rest of those positions up on your screen for you as Ryan. This is such a tricky circuit. The track is very slick. Looking at our weather today, we have 81 degrees with track temperature of 91. So it's not that much warmer than normal. But the winds are fairly consistent. It's late afternoon. Humidity is low. This could definitely make for an interesting race.
Yeah, absolutely right. So it should be an interesting race up at the front, but also in the midfield as well. And yeah, with the likes of Fahim and Tonaida's, Halliburton, Fraser, Daniels, Hobbs, Edwards, and so on up at the front, we should be in for an interesting but epic race.
We certainly should be, and well, the guys are going to be heading to the grid in just a couple of seconds time now as we get ready for the 3rd round of the season. It feels like we've already been doing this for 10 rounds this season. So much has happened in our first few rounds. Bill Fraser, of course, the amazing comeback last week, of course, at Twin Ring Motegi. Huge run from him there. 2 wins so far in 2 rounds. Can he be stopped? will tonight be the turn of somebody else? We'll have to find out. Fraser's back in third. Anthony Des has been denied twice. Second place so far in every round. Forever the bridesmaid and never the bride. We'll find out very shortly how that will come to fruition in this event. Drivers taking their positions on the starting grid here at Okayama. All the way back through the final corner, actually. 58 drivers in this race. This is insane. Our 1 second bracket, so we're looking for a 44-1. Well, that comes up actually surprisingly late. 19th place is our 1 second cutoff. So the field is close, which always, Ryan, means for very close racing. We're going to have a fantastic one tonight. And now we just wait for those lights on the Dunlop gantry before the cars will head into, wow, first corner. Because that's its name. Come on, Japan, you could be a little bit more original than that. You're the guys who came up with Godzilla. Engines rev now on the cars, and we're getting ready to kick this thing off tonight. Round number 3 is green. Not the best start by Fahim Antonides. Kane Halliburton gets a reasonable run there in second place. Fraser launching well in third. Fraser pulls up alongside Halliburton into turn 1. Will stay in third place for now. Ben Daniels attacking from behind. It's going to be a left-hand sweeper now into this twisty section, back and forth into the deep corner in what we call turn 4. Front pack making a bit of a break there all the way back to Simon Edwards in 6th place. Some tight side-by-side racing just behind them with Clark Williams and Paul Grillo. Single file up, climbing through the hill towards our first real straight. The field filtering in there. Huge amounts of traffic here. 3 wide back in your pack as the first draft session of the event will take place here. 6 cars in a line. Ryan, into the hairpin.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just watching these guys up at the front here. It's just about 3 wide into this hairpin, and yeah, at the moment, Fahim Antonides leads the pack.
Oh, behind them is the exciting part right here, as we've got Paul Grillo, we've got Claire Hughes, Clark Williams, Christian Novak, all in a massive pack of cars here, pushing hard all the way back, including Robert Plumley, who had a massive launch on this one. That's Grillo defending there, I believe, as they head towards 280-degree corners here towards the end of our lap.
No contact.
I've had some contact. What's happened?
I'm not sure. I was just looking back through the pack there, and it looks like it could have been Paul Grillo possibly, and some another car involved.
He's okay.
Oh, my bad.
We'll keep it going. We'll find out later what's happened for them. But Paul Grillo is still driving, so I'm hoping it wasn't him that crashed, unless I'm seeing a ghost. But as it stands, Bill Fraser up into second place already, getting past Kane Halliburton now, going after Fahim Antonides. Can he beat Fahim a 3rd time? Will Fahim want to give up that 1st place to the man who's beaten him twice so far this season in 2 rounds? Wow, only 13 more laps, and we will find out exactly who is going to win this one. Ben Daniels holding tight to the back of his first 4 cars. Behind them, Jack Hobbs keeping himself involved. So is Simon Edwards. Clark Williams closing up there with Claire Hughes, Anthony Cass and Christian Novak just behind them, getting themselves involved in the action down here. Grillo leading that 2nd pack now. Kind of a 3rd pack we have with Plumley, Sigley, Morris, Taylor, and Vaughan Roberts bringing up the rear there, and Gary Tall, Chris Bassett. In fact, the entire field's pretty much wow, we just had a bit of a kiss and tell moment there with, I think that was Paul Cook and Rob Marshall heading up the back straight. In fact, we've got Marshall there and Adcock side by side. Looking at P3 though, involvement here with Kane Halliburton. Oh, big moment! Halliburton goes off. We're just going to take a quick look at the replay of this to show you what came from this whole thing. But initial contact there with Halliburton and Daniels. We'll show that going into the hairpin here. Should be up on your screens for you there, as Daniels just doesn't bother braking, goes flying into the back of Halliburton in the hairpin, sends himself off the track and gets wrecked. Halliburton carries on with no rear wing, comes into the following corners with no downforce, right as it's Fraser and Antonides side by side. Antonides runs very wide, gets loose on the dirt, goes sideways across the track, holds his car. Halliburton just goes off with no downforce though. Bill Fraser comes through to the lead there in shock fashion already. End of lap number 2. We've had a massive change. Daniels and Halliburton have had problems. Antonides had a problem. The only person who didn't make a mistake here was Bill Fraser.
Yeah, absolutely. Fraser's just been keeping out of trouble so far in this race, and yeah, Antonides made a mistake, and Fraser was there to pick up the pieces and slip into the lead. And yes, so far Fraser's doing a good job.
When in the world did Bill Fraser become the sensible campaigner of this series, Ryan? Because this season and last season, in fact the last maybe 3, Bill Fraser's been a different driver to the have-a-go lad we knew in the past, who would make mistakes, who was fast but reckless. Bill Fraser now, he looks seasoned.
Yeah, absolutely. Bill Fraser was a bit of a... He was always quick, as you mentioned, but before he was a bit too aggressive, and he was just one of those people. He was always quick, but he's improved in his racecraft, and he's absolutely right up there with the best of them in the Skip Barber now. And yeah, at the moment, it's proof that he's improved in some areas, and he's absolutely doing well.
So let's have a quick look here at Keeble, Dick, Cox and Max. Running back here in 25th, sorry, through 21st. I had the positions wrong there for a moment, as they are battling pretty hard even down here. Just ahead to Adrian Hendy there, getting involved with Dave Martin. Can he find a way past? Not going to be this time by. Back towards your leaders at the very front, and Fahim's closed the gap back up to Bill Fraser. Can he make a pass this time by? He's going to have the draft here. Bill goes defensive. Fahim reacts to that. The Thrustmaster Bavano car goes wide once again, realizing this might not have been his corner. Tries to carry some speed, gets a little bit more sideways. Carries great exit speed though there, Ryan. Carrying great speed through the corners, but Bill's just in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, absolutely. Bill's doing a good job of defending at the moment, but I think if Fahim can get a good exit on the exit of this long right-hander heading onto the back straight, he could possibly get a run on Bill, and Bill might not be able to do anything.
That certainly looks like it could be the case. We'll keep our eyes on this one for the moment, because the battle for the lead has hotted up from the start of this race.
Fahim's got the run
right behind the gearbox, and he goes to the inside. Bill doesn't defend at this stage. He lets him go to the side. He knows he's got a lot of laps left, and this is something we've been saying. Fraser knows when to push it, and he knows when to let it go now, which is something we haven't seen in the past. Do you think, Ryan, winning a championship as Fahim gets past, winning a championship has let Bill say, I've proved what I need to prove. I've shown them I'm fast. Now it's time to race smart.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with Bill winning a championship now, I think, as you say, he's proved his point that he can do the business, and also I think he's using that mentality now. It's not always the main thing or the most important thing to win races. It's just about being consistent, finishing races, and most of all, scoring points.
Back in 14th and 15th, two teammates running side by side, Gary Tall and Darrell Taylor. Racing up in the action here, Chris Bassett behind them, Vaughan Roberts ahead there in this 12th, 13th, 14th region on the racetrack. Getting the action going. Coming through the final corner, I think single foul out once again. Tonides will hold the lead into 1 this time by though. Fraser in 2nd place, Jack Hobbs in 3rd, Edwards in 4th, Clark Williams in 5th. And this has been Clark Williams' story so far again. He's just been consistent. He's not wrecked where everybody else has. He keeps plodding away with those points. This is why he's always in our top 10s for points every season and every year, Ryan. Clark is just one of those drivers who gets it right regularly.
Yeah, Clark's one of those people. He might not always be the quickest driver in races, but he's always used that mentality of thinking of the long game, and just again finishing races and just scoring points. It might not always be top 10 finishes, but if he finishes in the points and gets decent results, it can help in the championship, and his position in the championship proves that.
It certainly does. Have a quick look at Dave Martin back here in 20th place. Trying to defend there from Daniel Tufts, who's going to go up the middle 3 wide here into the hairpin. Oh, it's a brave move. They hold it through the corner. Martin holds it in the middle. That was synchronized driving there for those 3. Beautiful piece of driving as the cars behind them stack up and nobody makes contact. And we talk about the leaders being good racers. This is back in 20th place. These guys getting it absolutely right, making a fantastic show of things. Oh, they decide to not make a great show of it there as Matt Cox decides to get himself wrapped into the Armco barriers. We'll take a quick look here. That was the 83 with him. That was Matt Maxed, who unfortunately maxed out his luck on this one. That's my pun for the race. The 2 of them end up in the Armco, and that is game, set, and match for those 2 drivers. God, these puns get worse every single race here as Just up ahead, we had some pushing into turn 1. Fraser stays back in second place though. I think they're staying fairly quiet for the moment, not pushing, just trying to make that gap to third place a little bit bigger there with Jack Hobbs looming in their mirrors. Paul Grillo leading that second pack. They're about 5 seconds back now from Novak, who's running 2 seconds back from your lead. That's how close our top 7 are there, Ryan. They are 2.6 seconds apart.
Yeah,
5 seconds back from that is Paul Grillo. He's then got in tow with him, Sigley, Plumley, Tall, and Vaughan Roberts.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems, I'm just looking back through the pack at the front and the midfield, and it seems that there's been a bit of a breakaway. There's two parks at the front and another park in close towards the top 10. So yeah, there's a battle throughout the field at the moment, and yeah, it's still a long way to go in this race, and anything can happen.
It is, and anything just happened as Simon Edwards made it past Jack Hobbs there for third place. Draft pass down into the hairpin there, gets it done as, Fahim with a problem. Fahim's had to concede first and second and third and fourth, I think it is. Yeah, looking at his run through turn 7, I think he took too many inches of curb there. He got all 4 wheels on that curb, had to slow down in the worst place, and he's now found himself back here in the 5th place, I think at the moment, maybe 4th place, depending on where this one filters out. But these are the kind of mistakes that he's been making under pressure recently that he can't afford to make. He's a great driver, but he's feeling that pressure of a team to perform for, feeling some pressure from likes of Bill Fraser, and Bill's just been flawless so far. He had one slowdown last week at Motegi, of course, which he paid for, but he's not shown to make any similar mistakes recently because Bill Fraser now trucking onwards, has the lead once again. Simon Edwards in second place, Jack Hobbs in third with 4th place. Anthony Dares there, just ahead of Clark Williams, Claire Hughes, Anthony Catt and Christian Novak in that train of cars. And these are the sort of things we mentioned because he's made 2 mistakes so far in this race. And there is one thing I want to really bring up here, Ryan. You'll be intimately familiar with this, and with how close these cars are all running in this pack. A lot of gearboxes overheat in these cars, and Okayama's known to be quite a skippy killer.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just about beat me to it. I was about to bring it up as well. If you're stuck in the draft for too long, like these guys are, they're stuck in each other's draft, and also as well about if you're stuck in the draft for too long, it can cause the engines to overheat, and a bit of contact behind. Yeah, it causes the engine to overheat, and in the end, if you're still stuck behind someone, cause the engine to blow up.
Certainly can. Have a quick look at what happened there. Clark Williams lost his rear wing there after he was rear-ended by Claire Hughes. Unfortunate for him there. Not a big moment, but enough to knock the rear wing off that number 98 machine of Williams, so we'll see how he performs. Oh, he's running very wide. He has no downforce on that car now after that rear end damage. Claire Hughes looking like he's okay, but Williams struggling dramatically here to keep speed. He's going to have to dive for pit road. He does just that already. We'll take it down pit road to get that car repaired. Really, really washy. And you don't think these Skippys have a lot of downforce on them, of course, Ryan. Well, the lay viewer doesn't perhaps think that. These ones are tiny, but you'd be surprised what a huge difference these make to these tiny cars.
Yeah, the front and rear wings make a massive difference, I should say. But the slightest bit of damage on these cars, it can unsettle the car, and if you lose a rear wing, you lose some downforce. As Clark dives in and gets his fastest spare, and he's on his way again.
There you go, nicely done for Clark Williams. Doesn't lose too much time for himself there. The field is certainly having a ball today as look back here towards the 18th place. Got our eyes on Daniel Tufts at the moment, who's trying to hold off Hendy, Martin and Dick just behind him. We've also got Christopher Keeble in that mix. It's going to be a 2-person dive here with Hendy to the hairpin. They climb up the hill towards the backstretch, and Hendy has the inside line, so does Martin. Gets a good run there. Across that timing line, and wow, 3-way drag here towards the end. And it is going to stay 3 wide here. Stuart Dick just behind them, not wanting to get involved in this. 4 might be too much for Okayama. 3 is kind of asking for it, but he decides to come into the diamond formation anyway. Who do you boys think you are, the Red Arrows? Make it through though with not too much contact. A little bit of tapping here and there. You know, I love you, just let me know you're there sort of routine, but they're doing their best to try and keep the cars apart. Very, very close racing here. Absolute massive action at Okayama, Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just watching this battle between these guys, and it's absolutely fantastic. They're they're racing each other hard, but they're also giving each other respect and racing room. And yeah, it proves that no matter where you are in the field in this league, there's always a battle or someone to battle with.
Yeah, there certainly is. As we're taking a quick look back towards your lead, although get a bit of a look here at Nicholas Vaughan Roberts back in 14th, making a move there on Jonathan Sheen. Going to be having the inside line to the first corner. Nicely done there, pass for Vaughan Roberts in the 2.52. In fact, he gets a spare one there from Chris Morris as well. Always handy. Holds it round as the outside, goes wide there. That's the 25 car. Chris Morris also loses a position. It looks like Darrell Taylor will follow him through that gap there as everything's changing here. Drivers off their regular line, really struggling to hold it together here. The rubbered-in track at Okayama really is a very specific groove there of grip, Ryan. This track's so slippery that the rubber build-up seems to be a crutch for these guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty wide racing.
Yeah, absolutely. The track, if it's not rubbered in, there's not really that much grip, and sometimes it can. If you go offline, you lose that grip, and it gives the other cars a chance behind to pounce and pick up the pieces. As these guys are going, I thought these guys were going free wide in the hairpin for a second.
That'd be brave, but we are going to look back at our leaders because Antonides got past Edwards and got past Hobbs. He's back up to second place here, chasing down Bill Fraser. Antonides has the bit between his teeth. He wants this one more than anything now. He is not willing to let a mistake cost him another race here tonight. He wants to get past him so badly, wants the win to break Bill Fraser's unbeaten streak this season. It has only been 2 rounds, but it's been 2 dominating wins for the Scotsman. Antonides trying his hardest here to get into position for something, but will that something come soon enough? There's going to be 5 laps remaining now of this 14-lap race. 5 remaining, and Fahim's only led for 2 so far, so he's got a lot of catching up to do. What have you got on the racetrack, Ryan?
I'm just watching at the moment. I'm just watching Fraser and Antonides at the moment, and yeah, it's a good recovery from Fahim at the moment. I mean, he fell back and lost a few positions after his slowdown, but he's stuck with it, got his head down, and just drove the wheels off his wheels off the car at the moment, and he's right behind Bill. Bill, I thought Bill was going on the grass for a minute.
It looked like it could have gone that way, as we have got retirements from Matt Maxton and Kane Halliburton at the moment. That's going to change their performance in this one. Retirement off Stuart Dick there as it's side by side. Antonides has the inside line for 6 now, running through the hairpin. Fraser comes back at him. Antonides goes wide. Fraser goes up the inside there for 7. Holds it inside. Can he hold it alongside Antonides? Have the line for the following corner. Doesn't have enough. Has to drop back behind him. Next 2 corners really aren't passing corners, but that's not going to be on Bill Fraser to have a crack at this one. Edwards just behind them there. And there might be some impending technical problems coming from Antonides based on what I'm seeing here. But as it goes, Fraser pushing hard to regain this lead now. Does not leave Antonides up there too long. What he needs is a really good exit from this final corner, aptly named last corner. And he does get a good exit there. Fraser with a good launch. Antonides knows it. He goes defensive early on. Can Fraser go through the outside of the first corner, get the inside for the second? Not going to have enough overlap in time there. Antonides' draft braking was incredibly effective. Tails him through now to the second corner, the cut through for the short layout there. Just one of the fastest short tracks we have on the schedule ever of a series. Okayama Short is an absolute boxing match in a phone booth. Fraser looking for an opportunity now. This is a dogfight. This is 2 fighter jets dancing in the sky here, looking for a chance to shoot each other down. Can Bill Fraser get tone on Antonides' car? Can he get that opportunity to fire away? I've run out of metaphors at this point. Bill Fraser got to the draft. Going in front of the hairpin. Will he get the draft? He does. He needs to have a much, much, much bigger lead here to get to the hairpin, to carry around the outside like Antonides did. Fraser goes wide, holds as much speed as he can. Doesn't hold the overlap. Antonides isn't sure where he is. He gives him some room. Closes the door now. Phenomenal racing up here at the front, and Edwards is stuck with them. The rest 2 seconds back. Hobbs in 4th place. So our podium positions have broken away at the front here, and this race is getting exciting. Yeah,
absolutely. If these 3 start battling away with each other, they'll need to keep an eye on their mirrors, because I'm just looking back at Jack Hobbs as well, and he's not that far behind. And if these guys start squabbling amongst each other, it could give Jack an opportunity to catch up to these guys and possibly make it a four-way battle for the win.
Yeah, certainly has, and wow, this is definitely making it interesting. Fraser now trying to find a way, running out of laps. 4 to go, of course, here at Okayama. Just behind them, Vaughan Roberts there racing. I believe that is Gary Toll just ahead of him. Plumley here with Nick Sigley just ahead of that group. Grillo on his own there, just ahead of them is Claire Hughes and Antti Cat. Cat currently sitting in 5th place, 11th in the grid. Our big movers so far tonight, 21st to 11th is Jonathan Sheen, up 10 positions in the racetrack. Up 8 is Gary Toll from 18th to 10th. We've also got some big movers here in the names of Stephen Nobes, 40th to 19th. He is flying through this field. The car is sideways there, 19th position right now for him. The 30 car of Nobes has been moving through this field like a knife through butter. Absolutely phenomenal driving, but he is on the edge of his seat here. Kirkman behind him, Williams behind him after his incident earlier on. Tim Adcock back there at 22nd. Oh, we've got a move here for Claire Hughes on Anthony Cat there into the hairpin. Simple draft pass, but can Cat answer back? Can he come to the inside there? No, Hughes will hold the outside advantage for the turn 6 corner following. Don't run wide. He runs it well. He holds on. Looking back to our leaders. Oh, here it is. This could be an opportunity, Ryan. Fraser right behind Antonides. Yeah,
Fraser's just, he's all over the back of Antonides, and I think if Fraser gets a good exit on the final corner on the home straight, he could possibly have Antonides into turn 1.
He certainly could. Antonides' draft picking tactics have been very strong. If Fraser finds something this time by, he goes deep himself. Antonides holds it wide. Fraser's not going to have draft here. He's going to have to go for a braking maneuver if he wants to get into turn 1. Drafts up behind Antonides, holds position for now. Is he waiting for a last lap opportunity? Possibly. That's risky stuff. 2 to go here at Okayama. 2 laps remaining now. Bill Fraser for him, Antonides. Will it be 3-4-3 for the Scottish driver? Will it be the first win this season for Antonides? He desperately wants it. He's been second twice so far this season. Is this the time he breaks that curse?
Possibly he's got a good run on onto the straight here. He could possibly get Antonides into the hairpin.
Pulling out very early here, which is unusual. He's not using that draft to get himself up alongside Antonides. I'm not sure what he's doing, but he might be going for an over-under here with Antonides running very deep. Antonides pulls it wide though for the corner. We'll see what Fraser does. He has a good run through. Compromised racing lines there for Antonides as he defends. Is Fraser putting him into a position he doesn't want to be in, perhaps? It's not seeming to pay off just yet. The laps are running down.
I wonder if he's just waiting until the last lap to try and get him on the back straight. I mean, if Fraser's planning to do that, I think that's a good strategy to use. So, yeah, quite possibly he might be just playing the waiting game.
It could well be. In fact, the way he's been sitting off that draft suggests he doesn't want to pass just yet. So we could be seeing some severe tactics coming through here from Bill Fraser. Finding an opportunity to take advantage and wait. This is not something we used to from Bill Fraser. Oh my God, he has! Bill Fraser will not win at Okayama. Will not make the line, or may just make the line here. On the penultimate lap at Okayama, heartbreak for the young Scotsman. It will not be 3 for 3. Fraser blows his motor from running too close to Antonides. Edwards isn't close enough. Antonides must be feeling a huge sigh of relief right now in the cockpit of his car. This is going to be his first win this season. He is going to be a very, very happy man if he can finish this race without making a mistake. The pressure is off. Edwards, 0.8 of a second behind him, could be a threat. Not likely though at the moment. Bill Fraser retires his car. That must be absolute heartbreak. And that is the funny thing. He was out in the air so much during this race. I don't understand that one, Ryan.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I don't think he's been in.
P6, P5, Claire Hughes, Anthony Cat, side by side on the backstretch. Do go on.
Yeah, I was just saying, I've not seen Fraser in the draft that much this whole race, so it's a bit weird. Unless he's been he's been aggressive with the down.
Yeah. I suspect he's been short shift, which is another Skippy killer. Contact there with Hughes and Katz. Side by side through 6 again. Cat has the inside. Hughes a bit further out. Grillo just behind him there, looking for an opportunity if they make a mistake. Side by side slowing him down. This brings Grillo into the fight. Can he get involved though? Not long to go. Anthony does. 2 more corners to go for him. Just the pit road corners here. A lift of a corner for the penultimate and a lift for the final corner. Fahim Antonides can see the checkered flag in Stewart's hand. First win this season for him and a relief for that driver. This is what he's been after for quite some time. And
as he spins over the line.
I hope he's crossed the line at that point. That would be unfortunate if he hadn't. Simon Edwards second place there. And it'll be Jack Hobbs coming back there as Claire Hughes will take that place from Anthony Katz for 4th place. Cat comes home in 5th. What a phenomenal race we've just seen so far. That was absolutely crazy. And the last minute heartbreak for Fraser is, honestly, that is heartbreaking. I thought he was going to do it. I thought he was playing a super tactical game there, Ryan. I thought we'd seen a whole different Bill Fraser where he's waiting patiently to attack. Like an angry cat hiding in a bush. You know, the bum wiggle of surprise as it leaps out of the bush and jumps on the mouse. And my analogies this week are a little bit ridiculous, I realise, but to have his engine blow after doing exactly the right things is terrible.
Yeah, absolutely. That was absolutely heartbreaking to watch. I mean, yeah, Bill was just, he was driving a sensible race and doing all the right things, as you say, and yeah, to have that happen with towards the end of the race is just heartbreaking. But yeah, Bill's been doing a good season so far, and yeah, I'm sure he'll have more wins as the season goes on.
Certainly is, and with that, our post-race results. Fahim Antonides comes home with a win today after poor Bill Fraser loses his engine. Simon Edwards in 2nd place. 3rd place, Jack Hobbs. Claire Hughes in 4th place. Anthony Catt in 5th. Behind them is Paul Grillo, Nick Sigley, Gary Tall, Robert Plumley, and Nicholas Vaughan Roberts in 10th. Darrell Taylor, Christopher Kelsey in 12th. Chris Morris, Chris Bassett, Adrian Hendy in 15th. Stefan Novis climbs 34 places from 40th to 16th. Clark Williams, Tim Adcock, Dave Kirkman and Tony Stack in 20th. Rest of those results up on your screens. As Ryan, this track, Okayama, it never fails to give us an exciting race. This series doesn't stop getting better.
Yeah, absolutely. Okayama is just one of those tracks that provides great racing in the Skip Barber, and tonight was no exception. And yeah, as the season goes on in the UK&I Skip Barber League, or Monday Night Skippies as it's formerly called, that I think this season has proven to be a cracker so far.
It certainly is, and every season we have is turning out to be a cracker. They just keep getting better. I don't know what they're putting in their cereal, but whatever it is, I think it contains something illegal. I'm going to leave that there before libel is involved, but we are waiting for him to come in for an interview. Anthony Des always comes in for a chat with us, so we're hopefully going to have a chance to chat to him in just a second's time. He always comes in when he finishes second. He's got to be excited this time. Maybe he's going to find a bottle of fizzy water to spray on his head. He probably has. It's been that long. I think he has been looking forward to this for quite some time. So we may get a chance to chat to him in just a moment. But Ryan, are you going back to racing anytime soon? That's what we want to know.
I was actually planning on doing some races in the UK&I Skip Barber League, so yeah, never say never. It's just a matter of time, just because of real life and other commitments at the moment taking up my time. But yeah, I'm planning to get back on the track at some point and race the likes of Mr. Antonides, I should say, and Fraser and other people. And yeah, whenever I get back on track, it'll be good fun.
Absolutely. And we have got a chance to chat to Mr. Fahim Antonides today. Fahim, you win finally. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I haven't had a very lucky start to this season, and speaking of bad luck, I feel sorry for Bill. This is the second time he's blown his engine running behind me at Okayama. And this is the reason. Are you
dropping something out the back of your car? That's what we want to know. Is it some sort of tax or oil slicks or...
Yeah, like Big Dastardly, yeah. You know, this track is always like this. They're talking about it in the forums. A lot of people are blowing their engines, and that's why it's really important to try and get ahead, which is why sometimes it might seem like you're fighting unnecessarily because there's a lot of race left ahead of you. And in some tracks, you can just bide your time, sit behind somebody, and then strike and outdraft them in the last moment. But if you try and do that here, well, you see what can happen. You can blow your engine because the ambient temperatures are so high. And then my slowdown didn't help either. And at that point, I thought, Christ, I'm really going to blow my engine now if I try and push too hard to get back to the front. But luckily, it just held. When I saw Bill smoking behind me, I for the last lap, I started short shifting just to be on the safe side. But I hope he has better luck next time. But congrats also to Simon for being right there. And thanks for letting me through. He decided for some reason not to fight me when I was chasing Bill. So you know, he got a well-deserved third for that.
He certainly did. Well, a fantastic result for you today. You finally broke Bill's streak of 2 for 2. You are on the board with a win here. This helps you massively in the points course. This will actually give you the championship lead, as Bill didn't finish today. So congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
With the win. Thanks for joining us.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Next up, we have got Gary Tall, who came home today in 8th place. Gary, a busy race here, 18th to 8th, though, nothing to sniff at.
No, the race was okay. Qualifying, as usual, was dire, really. I should have done better than that. But some very good racing back in the pack. Very tense with the engine temperatures. I'd got a readout on the dash, and I knew when I was hitting 144, which is pretty critical. So it was a case of just pulling out of the draft, and like Fahim's just said, short shifting then. So yeah, very, very, very tight.
It certainly was, but the track is always unforgiving, very slippery here, of course.
Yeah, to be honest, I've never really enjoyed it before. I think this is the third race I've done, and but I actually seem to get it a bit better this time. But I just couldn't get a toe in qualifying, so I would have hoped to have been a bit better up than that. But the race was good fun.
It certainly was. Well, congratulations on 8th place. Top 10 result for you today. Thank you for joining us, Gary Toll.
Thank you.
And next up, we've got Ryan standing by here with Christopher Kelsey, coming home today in 12th from 23rd, a gain of 11 places.
Good result, by the way, Chris. It was, what was your plan coming into this evening? Was it just finish the race and score points with people possibly blowing their engines, or just go for it from the get-go?
It was pretty much go for it from the get-go. After the first 2 races of the season, I had some pretty dire results, to be honest. I'd taken out in the first corners in both the last 2 races, so I decided to really go for it after a really bad qualifying session, and just put pedal to the metal and see what I could do. Thankfully, I was able to keep pace with the train in front of me. I was just about able to hang on to the back of it. I was able to really get in the fight with Chris Bassett and Chris Morris. I think I was actually the highest placed Chris there, actually, leading the pack of Chris's home. But fantastic rating of those two, and Okayama is always so much fun. Really enjoy it.
Good to hear. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to or thank anyone?
Obviously, I'd like to thank both Chris Morris and Chris Bassett again for some fantastic racing, as always. And also I want to say a quick hello to another Christopher Keeble. I've met him a few times, both in Monday Night Skippys and also during the normal iRacing races. So obviously it's good to race him. Good to race you all.
Good to hear. Thanks for joining us, Chris.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for joining us, Mr. Kelsey there as well. Ryan Walker, thank you for coming and joining us tonight as a special guest commentator. Hopefully we'll have you back again in the future if you're not racing.
Thanks very much. I enjoyed tonight. I was a bit rusty in some areas because I've not had the chance to keep up to date with the Monday Night Skippies that much, just due to other stuff getting in the way. But thanks for having me, and I look forward to commentating with you guys at RaceSpot in the future.
We look forward to having you as folks. Thank you for joining us from Monday Night Skippys this week. We go on next week, same time as always. Do not forget, check out our sponsors on the channel. Campaign Against Living Miserably, Calm, check them out in the description. And of course, Esteban Bellow's Track Pack for Gourmets. They are people we support. They are amazing. We'll see you next time. Bye.